I'm back. We're back with the 2024 KLX300. Tonight I'm going to put in the KDX snorkel, and also I'm putting on the Delkevic stainless steel oval exhaust that I had on the 2021. It does fit directly onto the 2024 with no issues. I'm going to go ahead and bolt that on. So we'll get to it here and I'll show you this part number. This is the part number for the KDX snorkel right there. Now this was, I believe this was $40 from Rocky Mountain. Your local dealer may be able to give you a better price on it possibly. So let me open this bad boy up and I'll show you what the difference is here. I'm sure I've had videos when I put it on the other one, plus there's a lot of videos floating around. This is what your original one looks like. This is the front of the bike. That's how it looks. You got this long piece up front. Then of course your snorkel down into your air filter box. So there's the original. There's the opening on the KDX. And of course you can see how short it is on top. And the opening continues down through. It's about twice as wide. So we'll go ahead and get this popped out of here. Just kind of pull it, get it started like that, and I'll wiggle it out. You can see it kind of has a groove right there. That's what sticks in your piece of plastic right here. And then of course we got to get this one back in there. And you can put a little bit of Windex on here, which I might do to slide this down in here and get it in. From what I remember, this hole is a little bit smaller, so if you're real particular, you may want to go along and widen this up just maybe a 1/16 of an inch the whole way around. I think once I had this in my 21, it was like there was a little bit of a pinch like around the edge of it here because it didn't quite fit in and needed widened out this way a little bit. So keep that in mind. You may want to do that before you put this in if you're real particular about that. I'm just gonna try to jam it in here and see what I can do. It's definitely a little bit of a tight fit. Just work it. I mean, if you're having trouble getting it in, you can spit on it a little bit. And right now, see, I'm down to that little channel, and you want to have that channel that's got to be sandwiched over your plastic lid. I'm going to try to get the front in first. Okay. So there it is, it's in. I actually went in pretty good. Like that, and there's the underneath. And there it is right there. So, another thing I want to mention, if you buy one of these bikes new, the stock air filter comes dry as a bone. So you will want to take it out and spray some type of foam filter oil on there to help with the dirt, because they come bone dry and that can let small particles of dirt through. So keep that in mind. You got 4 bolts. Of course, before you start any of this, you got to take the seat off and your side panel here, which is your seat bolt. And you got one 8mm down here, and of course you just have you'll have this little plastic tongue sticking in the front here, and you have this nipple that goes right in here in the rubber grommet that you got to pull out. Okay. Of course I have, and you'll have 4 of these right here, 10mm in your airbox lid. I'm just putting these back in. Oh my God, would you just start? What is so complicated about just getting in your threads and going? Just like that. And then we will move on to the exhaust. Okay. All right. Here's my Delkevic. This is the, I always get this wrong, between 13 and 14 inch, but I believe this is a 14-inch oval. It's definitely not the short one. And of course this one's already together. It comes with this strap separate that you got to put the rubber piece on and get it around this exhaust. I actually, this one here, it's not spreading apart, you notice. I put a little tack weld on there so that I can just take this on and off without worrying about this thing ever moving around again. And of course it has your little bung hole for your O2 sensor right there. And this uses just the 2 mounting holes as opposed to the 3 that are on the bike. And of course you got to clamp it up here. And when you buy these new, they give you a tube of sealant, which I never use the sealant because I'm constantly switching. Sometimes I want to go super quiet, so I will put the stock exhaust back on, so I never put sealant on here. And this one has the quiet core insert with the spark arrestor in it. So this exhaust is actually pretty quiet when you're just putt-putting around. Now when you get on it on the top end, it does get a little bit louder, but it's a really nice exhaust for what you pay. I'll put the price in the description. I think it's between $2 and $2.30 for these nowadays. And you got to put this, I always twist these, instead of unplugging this O2 sensor, I just freaking twist it up a couple turns like that, then get it in my threads and hopefully get it started. This is 17mm. And then you can just slide it right in. Like that. And you're good to go. So, get this factory bolt. This just uses the factory bolts. I also want to mention, I weighed these. Okay. And the stock muffler is, let me see, I wrote it down, 5. The stock muffler is 8.6. Delkevic is 5.2, so that's a 2.8 pound weight saving, so almost 3 pounds of weight. And that's why I do this. I could care less really about the sound. It does give it just a touch of performance between these two things, but I like the weight savings up on the top of the bike. Between that and the lithium battery I did was it saved me, it was 5 pounds. It saved me 3.8 pounds, I believe. The battery was, the difference in the two batteries between lithium and standard lead was 3.8 pounds and 2.8 right here. So you figure you have just under 7 pounds of savings. So that's pretty good. And you notice that when you're on the trail or picking this bike up, you notice that big time, that weight savings up high. Tighten up that clamp. Tighten that up. And you'll have an extra bolt, which I always put back in. So when I put the stock exhaust back on, it's right there. And this one is a nut. And if you notice here, I have the Tusk Rack. This is the Tusk rear rack right here. Now, it fits this bike, but if you've been following my channel, when I put this on the 2021, I did not like the way it sat. It was at a harsh angle, so I actually cut this and did some angle changes so it laid flat. So I can't say that when you get the Tusk one for a 2021 that it's going to fit on here exactly, but this one, even with my modifications to the side arms here, mine does fit. Now I had to put some spacers. There's about a 3/4 of an inch spacer where it mounts through the fender back here that I had to put on. So keep that in mind. I mean, I'm almost 99.9% sure you could order the one for the 21 to 23 if Rocky Mountain doesn't list one for a 24, and it should fit on there. So keep that in mind. All right, so we're good to go there. So let's see if my side panel fits on. With this 2020 here. Now I will spit on that a little bit so it goes in easier. I do that all the time. Spit on it. Got to spit on that thing. You know how it goes. Okay. Seems like we're fitting up with no clearance issues. I'll tighten this up and then I will go ahead and fire it up. Okay, see what we got. All right, there you go. Like I said, very nice sound. It is not, you have to buy the spark arrestor quiet core. It comes as one section, but you do have to buy those separate. I'll put the price of this all in the description, but I'm going to say the quiet core is around $40, maybe $50, and the pipe itself is like in the $2-ish, $220-ish range, but I will put those in the description below so you know, from Delkevic. But I've run these on, I mean, I have them on the KLR, the CRF, and I had this one on the 21 and of course on this bike, and I've had no issues with them. And for what you pay for them, I mean, it's not that I like the look of them. They're not my favorite look of all the mufflers. I prefer probably the FMF quiet core, but this, sound-wise, this performs just like a quiet core. It's probably actually a little bit quieter. So keep that in mind. All right, so there you go. Snorkel, I'll put the price for that. Got the part number there. Muffler on, if you have a 2021 or to 23, that muffler will fit. So keep that in mind, and like, subscribe, comment, share, get on your bike, get outside, and we'll see you with more stuff on the KLX. Later.